Hello YouTube channel. Today we're going to be playing topic relay because I don't know what to talk about and I have a whole lot of ideas. Let me show you. Yeah, those are my ideas. In case I don't know if you saw them, probably you did, but yeah, I'm going to be talking about anything I picked today. And yeah, that's just what we're gonna do because YouTube is suddenly all of a sudden so hard to get views. Yes, I know I was not consistent. That doesn't mean you should take away all the views in the world from me. Like, what? Anyway, let's pick. Yep, this is it. So our topic is going to be, we're all going to die anyway. So leave your mark. I am all for this topic because basically all the time before I do anything, I'm thinking, should I really do this? Like, what are they going to think? How is it going to look? Like, it's not aesthetic enough. I can't post now. I don't have an iPhone 17 yet, which is crazy because this camera quality is actually giving compared to the phone I had before. Listen, I started this year with so many goals. Like I'm a dreamer and I love setting goals. Like it's my hobby, something I love to do. I do it for fun, I'm just stay and I'm like setting, I want to do this and I want to do that. And I end up doing 2 out of 20. But it still gets me to do something. Imagine me without the set goals compared to, me getting 4 out of 40 goals. I would basically have no goals at all if I did not set some. Anyway, that's not the topic. The topic is we're all going to die anyway, so leave your mark on the world. I have found myself becoming someone who continuously watches and watches and watches, and I consume and consume, and I just keep eating it up. Like, you're watching this creator and you're watching this creator. I personally don't like watching influencers. You see, that's the thing. Sometimes we find it hard to differentiate between a creator and an influencer. I call myself a creator. Why? Because I'm just making content. I'm not trying to sell you a product. I'm not trying to market a brand. I am not hired by any brand to do that. If I was paid by a brand, I would still tell you about the brand. But I think my ethics wouldn't allow me to, advertise a brand that I don't like or that doesn't work or that wouldn't relate to my little baby audience. I say little baby because we're only 38 people on this platform and I would love to grow, but that's not what this is about. So yeah, I found myself consuming so much content and not creating anymore. I used to be so creative. Now when I say creative, I'm not saying I was Picasso. I did not paint, I did not build Legos, I did not do building blocks. And there's this thing my brother used to do. He used to make Ben 10 monsters out of cartons. Out of any cartons he could find, he would paint them and do stuff like that. He doesn't do that anymore. Why? Because he has a phone, he has games on his phone, and he has TikTok. No shade to TikTok. I love TikTok. I think I make posts there. You can follow me if you want to. My name is right here. And yeah, so my brother doesn't post anymore. Sorry, he doesn't make those things anymore. He doesn't draw anymore. And I'm talking about my brother, but I'm not any better. I have been dreaming of making content since I was a little girl. Since I used to watch reality TV, I'd be like, oh my goodness, I would love to be like these people. Like, why can't I be like that? And now I have a phone and a platform. Platforms actually, because I'm on every single social media you can find except Twitter. I don't like Twitter. It gives me bad vibes, I might join it someday, but not right now. So I'm on every single platform you can find, but what am I doing with it? Absolutely nothing. I'm just consuming and consuming and making other people richer. I don't have a problem with I don't have a problem with you being rich off of my views because it's me. I'm the one that decided to watch it. But my problem is that I watch those things so much and then I find it hard to sit down and make my own content, which is crazy because I love to talk. I love to yap. Yeah, basically I've been talking to you for 4 minutes and I haven't even started on the actual point. You see, that means I have so much to say and so much to say, so much personality in my thoughts, my words, my perspective. And I believe that everyone else has their own perspective. Oh my goodness, has their own perspective, but we allow social media to take that away from us. We we go from people who have strong opinions about politics, beauty standards, fashion, fitness, philosophy, to people who are mindless drones watching other people do their makeup, eat good food, work out, and we're trying to follow this person and follow that person. But what about you? What about you? Imagine, just imagine, I know it's terrible, but but imagine your favorite creator, like all of them, all the people you follow, they stopped posting. Imagine all those satellites, all those satellites that control, I don't know how this works, but like, let's just say satellites control social media, and those satellites, they stop working. What are we doing? What are we going to do? Like, and you're like, oh, well, you're going to what? You're going to what? Twitter doesn't work either, and the games, they don't work. Yeah, no apps are working. Yes, you're not going to do anything. Why? Because you're not going to have anything to do, because you're not creative. You're constantly consuming and you're not creating. You don't have a footprint digitally, physically, emotionally, socially. Even your friends, you're there and your friends don't know you're there because you're always on your phone and you're not saying anything. Isn't that crazy? Listen, this summer I have a list of activities that I want to do. Like I said, I do 2 out of 20 goals. So out of a list of, I made a list of over 200, I think, or let's just say 150. So out of 150, I do 15. Doing 15 things this summer. Do you know how awesome that is? I used to do nothing during the summer, and now I'm going to be someone who does 15 things. Don't you think that this might just be the most memorable summer of my life if I'm able to do 15 out of those 150 things and film them and make content about it and character, grow my character through it? Don't you think? I just listen to myself talking and I'm like, who are you even talking to? Because you have 38 subscribers and basically no one watches your videos anymore, and you're still talking like you have so many followers. Well, yes, I love to talk, and literally no one is in this room to judge me right now except you guys on the other side of the screen, but I can't tell that you're judging me, so I don't care. I don't really care, because it doesn't matter. Like I said, we're all going to die anyway, and when I die, I want to be known as the girl who was so bubbly and so talkative and had so much to say, even if you agree with it or you don't agree with it, or you think I'm crazy or you don't think I'm crazy. Imagine being the girl who, said whatever she had to say and just kept saying it because she could and because there was something to say. Then apart from that, take that away, that's me. But then imagine being the person who had nothing to say. Yeah, imagine being the person who, just watched and you're like, oh yeah, that's okay. Oh my God, her dress is so beautiful. And then nobody had something to say about you, She was Lauren. She was just Lauren. What else? Nothing. She was just Lauren. How do you think that would feel? Listen, I'm not calling out anybody's personality. I'm just saying, now I'm going to be making videos less than 10 minutes and this is 8 minutes. So I'm basically going to wrap this up and say, do something, do whatever it is that you wanted to do. You want to learn a language, do it. You want to make stuff, do it. You want to start a business, absolutely do it. Do you know how much money you could gain? Basically, well, nobody knows me and I'm not going to sell it out. That's why we have social media. Listen, I wanted to start a business a while ago, but I'm just going to keep that in the side because I want to fully, hey, I'm doing that again. You see that thing where I said, everything has to be perfect before I do it, and la 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 la. Well, that's not true. And I'm just now realizing that I'm just doing it again, like saying, oh, I have to plan everything before I start a business. You know what? I'm going to start a business. Do I say before the end of the year? But I don't know. I'm not quite sure what business I want to start. And you can't start a business without, a product. So my thing is to create a product. I created an ebook, but I don't feel like using my social media to constantly sell myself, Oh my God, I got my skin from this to this, so buy my ebook. I don't want to do that. It feels so terrible. I hate it when people, just to tell you a fact that's going to help your life, and then they're like, oh, buy this and buy that, buy a course. I hate that stuff. You know, I basically created it when I was looking for a means to earn, but right now I'm just exploring my creativity, because I'm 18, I'm not 20, I'm not 45, and even if I was, I would still do this because I love doing what I'm doing. That's basically all I have to say. You should be remembered for something when you die, and if you're not, you would be sad wherever it is you are, and the people around you would also be sad when it's not even their fault that you couldn't be remembered for something. So do something today. Go out and do something. Bye.